If you've paid for a website and the phone still isn't ringing, this one's for you. You did everything right. You hired someone, it looks good, it's live, it's fast, it works on a phone, and yet it's quiet. So you start to wonder if the website is broken. I'm going to tell you something most web people won't tell you, because honestly, it costs us work. Your website probably isn't broken. It's just being asked to do a job it was never going to do on its own. I've spent years building websites for businesses around Sydney, small operators, charities, the lot, which is how I know the thing I'm about to tell you. Here's the thing nobody explains when they sell you a website. A website doesn't go anywhere. It can't knock on a door. It can't start a conversation. It just sits there waiting. A website is a destination, not an engine. Think of it like the front door of a shop, a beautiful front door which has never once gone out onto the street and brought someone back. That's not the door's job. The door's job is to let people in once something else has brought them. So when your website isn't generating leads, the real question isn't what's wrong with the website. It's this: what is actually sending people to it and how often? Because if the answer is nothing much, then the perfect website will convert nothing perfectly. And before you think this is me blaming you, I did exactly the same thing. I optimized my own website properly, the way I'd do it for a paying client. And it stayed quiet, not because the work was bad, because I'd fallen into the same idea that if I just built the website well enough, the thing would do the selling. It won't, and it never has. The website was fine. It was just waiting for something to do. Years ago, I worked with a health brand in Europe, and they taught me something I've never forgotten. We weren't really advertising to a customer. We were advertising to the person behind the counter because the product was in a pharmacy. And when someone's standing there unsure, they turn to the assistant and ask, which one should I get? That assistant is the lead, not the form on the website. A person having a quiet conversation that you will never see. And in the supermarkets, the result didn't show up that week. It showed up months later in the size of the next order. Now, think about what that means. If that brand had just judged the campaign by website inquiries that month, they'd have called it a failure and pulled the plug, right as it was starting to work. There's a second half to this. Even when something is pointing to your website, an ad, a post, a campaign, most businesses do it once. They make one ad, they run it for a year, they never change it, and then they're surprised it stopped working. An ad you ran 12 months ago unchanged isn't a campaign anymore, it's wallpaper. People stopped seeing it months ago. The uncomfortable truth is the business that actually generates leads are most never the ones with the best websites. They're the ones who keep showing up. New ad, new post, new story, again and again and again. That's the hard part, not making that thing once, making it again next week when you're busy or when you feel like nothing's happening. I've also worked with charities, and here's what surprises people about how charities actually raise money. It's almost never a stranger who's never heard of them landing on the website and deciding to give. It's the people already involved, the volunteers, the supporters, the ones who already care. What the website and the emails and the posts actually do is keep those people warm, reminding them regularly why it mattered enough to get involved in the first place. The lead there isn't a new person at all. It's someone who already knows you, just not being quietly forgotten. And then there's the most expensive mistake of all. and I've watched a lot of business make it. They spend real money on advertising, serious budgets, but they make one ad, and then they run it unchanged for a year. No new story, no refresh, just the same image in front of the same people who stopped noticing it months ago. And when the leads dry up, they go looking for something to blame, usually the ad itself. But the ad was never the problem. The budget was never the problem. What was missing was a story worth telling twice and the discipline to keep telling it. So if your website isn't generating leads, here's what I'd ask you not to do. Don't rebuild the website. That's the expensive reflex. And it usually fixes nothing because the website was rarely the problem. Instead, ask the two real questions. What is sending people to my website? And am I doing that consistently, or did I do it once and stop? A website can't generate a lead any more than a front door can go and find a customer. It was probably always fine. It was just waiting for something to bring people to it. If your site's gone quiet, the fix usually isn't a new site. It's everything pointing to it. The ad, the story, the showing up. That's the part I actually help people with. If you want, I'll tell you what I'd look for first. I'm Phil Mace. That is the work I do.